How to learn faster and remember more. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. If you're new here, welcome, and consider subscribing to my channel and click that little bell notification below. People learn how to do things correctly by repeatedly making mistakes. Education isn't a magic wand. Education is knowledge gained through failure. Learning new things makes us feel accomplished, which increases our self-confidence. As a result, you'll feel more prepared to take on challenges and investigate new business opportunities. Learning new skills will open up new opportunities for you and assist you in coming up with creative solutions to issues. You should safeguard and improve your memory because it's a valuable resource. Even if you're not currently required to memorize material for exams, the capacity to recall information accurately and quickly is always crucial. You only have one brain, so take good care of it. Exercise it frequently, and don't take it for granted. Let me give you some tips on how to learn faster and remember more. Number 1. Make notes on paper and with a pen. It may seem that taking notes during a conference or lecture on a laptop will be more thorough and speed up your learning, but that isn't how it works. Skip the laptop and take notes the old-fashioned way with a pen and paper to accelerate your learning. People who type their lecture notes found to retain and process information at a lower level. Those who take handwritten notes discover more information. While writing out notes by hand is slower and more laborious than typing, the act of understanding and remembering the information through muscle memory. You can improve your memory by rephrasing the information in your own words. Number 2. Say it out loud. You can remember information better if you repeat it out loud to yourself. Read it aloud if you're studying from a book, website, or your notes. Read the text slowly to avoid missing any crucial information. To help you remember the words even better, try pointing at them as you read. It becomes simpler to recall the information from the top of your head the more you say it aloud. The information sticks out more in your long-term memory because you're actively speaking. Number 3. Teach someone else. Teachers frequently look for key points and arrange information into a logical structure when preparing to teach. These powerful learning techniques are also used by students who hope to become teachers. You can learn more quickly and retain it better if you pretend you'll have to teach someone else how to do the task or subject you're trying to understand. The expectation alters your mindset, causing you to learn more effectively than someone who only studies to pass a test. Number 4. Focus your attention. One of the key elements of memory is attention. You must actively pay attention to information for it to transfer from your short-term memory to your long-term memory. Try to find a quiet space where you can study without being interrupted by music, television, or other diversions. It might be difficult to eliminate distractions, especially if your surroundings are busy. To concentrate on your work, ask your roommates to give you some space, or ask your partner to watch the kids for an hour. Number 5. Have effective note-taking skills. You'll learn more quickly the better your notes are. You'll remember concepts, gain a deeper understanding of the subject, and develop useful learning skills if you know how to take complete and accurate notes. So ensure you're familiar with various note-taking techniques before learning a new subject. Take these points from me. To revisit your main points later and add more details, leave white space and lines between them. To save time, create a consistent system of abbreviations and symbols. Write in fragments rather than full sentences. Recognize and extract important information while ignoring irrelevant data. Number 6. Try self-testing. Take a quiz to determine what subjects you still need to review. Test your memory by reciting everything you learned after reading or practicing something. Try writing down the definitions of words or phrases you need to remember without going to a dictionary. Make a note of the information you find challenging to recall so you can review it and practice it again. In this manner, you avoid wasting time on already proficient activities. So, if you're testing yourself on a chapter from a textbook, describe what happened in your own words. At the end of the chapter, look for any key words and attempt to define them. Additionally, you can find a ton of practice tests for the subject you're studying online. Number 7. Avoid cramming. Anything under 30 minutes is insufficient, while anything over 50 is simply too much information for your brain to process at once. After you're finished, pause for 5 to 10 minutes before beginning another session. Lessons should be brief and frequent rather than long and infrequent. You can have the necessary time to properly process information by studying the material over several sessions. Research has repeatedly demonstrated that students who regularly study retain the information much better than those who do all of their studying in a single marathon session. Number 8. Use distributed practice. Two things must occur for a concept to transfer from your short-term working memory to your long-term memory. The concept must be memorable and repeated. To ingrain information into your memory, repeat concepts to yourself. Techniques for repetition can include using flashcards, the straightforward advice in this section, and self-testing. You should spread out your studying and repetition over a few days and start lengthening the intervals between your study sessions. Spacing it out and gradually lengthening the gaps between can help us strengthen our sense of mastery and cement the ideas in our minds. Number 9. Try Common Mnemonics. Mnemonics are techniques and systems that help people remember information. The first letter of each word in a sentence and each word in a list that needs to be memorized are examples of a common type of this. Using the most popular mnemonics, you can recall words or phrases more quickly. Number 10. Sit at the front of the class. If you have the option of where you want to sit during class, choose a spot up front. According to studies, students seated in the front typically score better on exams. Depending on where they sat in class, the students' average scores were back rows, 68.1%, middle rows, 71.6%, and front rows, 80%. These results were attained in settings where teachers assign the seats. Accordingly, it's not simply a case of the more motivated students choosing to sit in the front and the less motivated students choosing to sit in the back. You'll be able to see the board and hear the teacher better from the front seat, and your concentration will also increase. Number 11. Use brain breaks. The problem of information overload exists. Stress and overload will prevent your brain from efficiently processing and storing information. It is necessary to learn new things because our brains must send signals to our sensory receptors to save the new information. Our brains essentially shut down when we're perplexed, anxious, or overwhelmed. Students listening to lengthy, in-depth lectures can experience this when they zone out and stop paying attention to what is being said. Essentially, learning stops because they can't effectively transfer that information to their memory banks. The best way to deal with this is to take a brain break, or simply change the focus of your attention to something else. Even a 5-minute break can help you and relieve brain exhaustion. Number 12. Elaborate and rehearse. You must store the information you're learning in long-term memory to recall later. Elaborative rehearsal is among the most efficient encoding methods. This method might be used, for instance, to read the definition of a key term, study it, and then read a more in-depth explanation of what it means. You'll probably notice that recalling the information is much easier after repeating this process a few times. Number 13. Relate to something you already know. By connecting complicated subjects to something else, you'll remember them better. It cannot be easy to comprehend if you can't visualize a subject. Try relating it to something you already know to help you visualize and remember what you're learning. You will remember it much more easily because you already have an association with something else you're familiar with. Number 14. Change the technique frequently. You can learn something more quickly by making small adjustments as you go. Your brain can develop routines if you perform the same task every day. Instead, speed up your study session, or add a slight variation like playing a learning game or increasing the level of difficulty to make it more challenging. It helps you retain the information faster because you have to adjust to the new environment. Number 15. Sleep well. According to studies, your brain stores and processes information while you're asleep. So sleep is crucial for memory and learning. After learning something new, taking a nap can speed up your learning process and improve your memory. Sleeping after acquiring new knowledge causes the brain to alter physically. Even if it's just for a short while, try to review the material before bed to see if that helps the information stick in your memory.